If I want to switch now and get into cybersecurity,
Yeah.
what do I have to do to be a part of it?
So I started out at a large company, and at that company I started at 1,000. Turnover rate in the cybersecurity industry is like huge because
So, who do you think is not set up to be successful in cybersecurity? I had a shit day at work. I had a lot of pee on my hands, and I'm over it. I want to do something else. I want to be in cybersecurity, and that's why I have Taylor Bell here, who is a part of cybersecurity. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so my official title at the company I work is a cybersecurity compliance and training analyst. So I'm more on the people focused side, I would say. I'm in charge of creating our employee trainings, onboarding new employees, kind of doing just awareness campaigns throughout the company. Sometimes they're like fun posters and stuff. That's what I like a lot about it. I guess be creative a little bit. And then since it is a smaller company, I sort of wear multiple hats. I do the IT project management as well, and kind of just in charge of cybersecurity in general.
Oh.
So I do multiple things, but my official title is compliance and training analyst.
So you're dealing more with the people instead of like the cyber stuff.
Yes, so I have never been a super technical like I understand technology, I like technology, but I've never been, I'm not gonna be hacking people or anything like that.
Okay.
So they kind of created this role at this company to start training their employees because I think they felt like they were falling behind in that regard and wanted to get ahead of the curve for the future. So a lot of bigger companies, they will have someone, doing training, doing compliance, security awareness, that sort of thing.
For cybersecurity specifically?
Yeah, for IT security, internet security, just kind of educating their employees. Because you would not believe the amount of older people especially just are not educated about the internet, cybersecurity, passwords, anything.
What have you seen?
I mean the basic stuff, people's passwords are literally just 1 2 3 4 or password, or they never change from the default password, that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of something crazy. We have a security tool that will detect if you have a document or an Excel sheet saved to your computer titled passwords. And so I have to email those people hey, you have a document titled passwords that we assume has all of your passwords in it. You're going to have to get rid of that. So just, stuff like that you would think, would just kind of be basic knowledge, but it's really not for everyone. So
that's why you're there.
That's why I'm there.
You got to educate them.
Yeah.
So if I want to switch now and get into cybersecurity, what do I have to do to be a part of it?
So I got a degree in cybersecurity. So my undergrad degree is in cybersecurity. It's IT with a track in cybersecurity. And then I ended up getting my master's in cybersecurity as well. I think you would probably have to get a degree to switch if you wanted to switch now. But there are some people who work their way up if you have a lot of technical experience just on your own. If you're someone who is in their room, you know a lot of code, you've taught yourself code, you can get a job doing that as well, getting in the door that way. But I would say security, if you are wanting just in cybersecurity position, then you'd probably need to get a degree in it, and then, or an IT degree of some sort, or computer science, and do it that way.
What type of coding languages are you learning?
I don't know any coding. Well, I took a Java class in college for my degree, but I don't know. I don't have to code at all in my job, in what I do at least. But I am more people focused again. So
if I'm trying to break into the cybersecurity realm and I want to do that on my own, a little cheaper, do I have to learn Java, and is there C++?
Yeah, Java, Python, C++. There's a ton of coding languages. It really just depends. I think a lot of jobs, as you're entering them, they're going to teach you what you need to know or what they want you to know. So if you did a lot of Java in college and you're really great at Java, but you start a job and they're oh, we don't use Java, you're going to learn how to do another language. So I think it does help to have that experience, though, because then you're going to learn easier the next time. So.
Okay, because I've seen boot camps where they're $10,000 and we'll guarantee you a job.
There's a ton of, even free, forgot it's called, something box, like Hackbox, Hack Me Box or something like that. But you can learn code. Like, there's a ton of free websites for coding. So I wouldn't pay for it like that if you're just wanting to learn code.
Okay, because I've thought about this before.
Coding's fun. Like, it's not... I mean, I sort of enjoyed it. I don't know if I sort of enjoyed it. I failed the class the first time. I had to retake it. That's the only class I've ever failed in my entire life. Only class I've gotten below a B in my entire life. So it was tough. I will not lie. But I retook it and got an A. So
so
it's
anyone
fine.
can do it?
Anyone can do it, yeah. But it just, if it's your first time ever doing it, I think like it's just a lot to learn, and it's better, to go at your own pace and go slower. Whereas sometimes in college classes, you don't, doesn't always work that way. So
if there are some people that are in college classes right now that are struggling with cybersecurity courses, what advice do you have for them?
There's just so many resources online. Like, if you don't know something, if your professor, doesn't know something, like, just look online. Like, go to YouTube. There's so many people on YouTube that just tell you exactly what you need to know, especially technology world. So.
Okay, so there's other resources out there than just reading the book.
Yeah. Like, if you're not understanding something, like, I'm a very, like, visual learner, and I like to do things, and that's how I learn how to do them. I can't just read something and be like, okay, got it. So I think just going online, YouTube, doing things on your own, like those not hacking websites, but coding websites, I think that would help a lot.
So you talked about hacking a little bit. Have you had any experience with the hacking situation?
No, I mean, we have gotten, I don't want to say hacked, but this was actually recently, the company website got malware injected onto it. So we had to like reset the website and clean the website and shut it down for like a day. But no, I'm not out there hacking people, no.
You don't have to work with the hackers or anything like that?
No, we've never, I don't know that. I don't want to say never, but I don't think that our company at our size, that we would ever get targeted like that. You never know, but the most hacking I've ever done is like trying to break into my parents' like Netflix account or something, so no.
So if you're doing that sort of thing with a hacker, like you get hacked, do you know if there's like a ransom that they do and they're like, we don't negotiate with terrorists?
Sometimes, that's what a ransomware, that's like when they put malware on your device and say, your device is basically ours, all your information is ours, unless you pay this amount of money. That happens mostly to larger companies, I would say. But there's always a possibility it could happen to anyone. So they say not, like the FBI and those type of people now, like they say not to pay them and like work with the FBI instead. But if I don't know, I think companies do pay them a lot because that's a lot hanging over your head, your reputation, everything. If they say, we have all of your data, pay us this money and you can have it back, they're going to just be like, okay, so.
When that malware happens, like it happened to your computer, are you at risk of losing your job? Because that's like the one thing that I'm worried about.
Well, so for our situation, it was our company website that it happened to. So it was it wasn't really our thing. I don't know. But I think individually, like if you are the person who, clicked on a bad link on your email, I don't know if you would get fired necessarily because everyone makes mistakes, but it's definitely like you have to take that responsibility of like, if I'm not being aware and I'm, doing something dumb, like it can impact your company for sure. So just be careful, I guess.
Especially for the cybersecurity head. You have to...
Yeah. So, well, I'm actually the one at my company sending out we do simulated phishing tests at our company to train our employees like on what to look for. So I'm the one sending out those emails.
Okay.
And everyone hates me for it.
How do you trick them to think it's a phishing web?
I use Microsoft ones a lot because those are common ones, like Microsoft phishing. Sometimes I'll do, like I did one during Christmas that was like free honey baked ham gift card, like thanks for being such a great employee, like stuff like that. So you can do all sorts of things, and it is like crazy the things people will fall for. So just based on like what interests them or what they believe or what they're willing to like disregard or look past. So yeah.
So I've heard like cybersecurity is more of this introverted thing. It's something that pays well, that I don't have to talk to people, and I can do it anywhere. Are those 3 things true, or are they all fake?
So from my experience, it does pay well. I was lucky enough to get like a really good starting salary, so that was nice. Talking to people, I would say that is kind of like a misconception that you don't have to talk to people a lot and don't have to be social. My position especially is more like people facing, but even we have an IT help desk person at our company, and he's talking to people all the time because they're submitting tickets. He has to go, to their desk and figure out the problem with them. So you definitely have to know how to talk to people, know how to be social, have just good soft skills, I would say. And then doing it from anywhere, it's definitely more likely than other jobs. Like any job that you can do from a computer, I would say is more likely that you'll be able to do it anywhere. But I think a lot of companies are moving back to having people, in office, like especially IT people, for when those in-person problems do arise. So, but I definitely think it's more likely to do it anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any like freelance work people can do in cybersecurity, or do you have to have like this full-time job all the time?
I don't really know a lot about that. I bet that you could do freelance. I don't know, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people do it. Like, I see on LinkedIn all the time. People are advertising their, services. I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know a ton about that.
Is the market like too saturated now? Because it feels like everyone's going into either data analytics, cybersecurity, IT.
Yeah. I think that cybersecurity is like one of the fastest growing professions. So I don't know if it'd be too saturated necessarily, because I think there's always going to be jobs for it. And I especially think with the growth of AI, like there's always going to be jobs now for managing the AI systems as well. So anything in IT, I think there's always going to be a need for.
Okay, because I was worried that AI would just take over all your jobs and no one would need cybersecurity.
I don't think so. I think it's going to help a lot. Like people are scared of it a little bit, I think, which I think there is always good skepticism with everything. And I think AI is going to simplify a lot of things. So mundane tasks that you're doing, like data, like filling out Excel sheets or data, or filling out forms or writing up reports or whatever, I think that's going to become a lot easier because it's a repetitive task that AI can do for you. But then there are always going to be people who are needed to, run AI, run the large data sets that AI gathers, that sort of thing. So I don't think it's going to take jobs really.
Okay.
I think it's going to create jobs more than anything. But
okay, that was one of my biggest fears. So.
Well, especially you're in the medical field. I don't think it's ever going to take in-person jobs away from people. And I think it can help a lot in the medical field, like predicting. They've already shown that it's been predicting diseases and cancer, and it can diagnose cancer. I don't know, I could be just wrong saying this stat, but it was I saw something on Instagram, granted, but it was that AI can predict cancer 3 times better than an actual person or doctor or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
From Instagram.
From Instagram, but also from my memory, so that could be wrong. But I did see a thing that AI is better at predicting when people have cancer or not, or detecting it, I guess I should say.
So they can also help with coding and doing other things like that. So do you think having a background in IT is more important for cybersecurity or AI now?
I would still say IT, and I think anything now, any IT degree or any IT classes, they're going to be talking about AI in some capacity, because I think it's going to be kind of involved in all aspects of technology now. So I think they kind of go hand in hand at this point. Okay. Yeah.
So you were talking about a good pay. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us the range that people can get?
Yeah, so I actually, which I think I started out at a large company. This is my second job in the career field. So I started out at a large company, and at that company I started at $78,000, which I think, for any college student, graduating college, that was insane. I was like, are you joking? So that was really awesome. But I think the pay range, I would say, CISOs, which is the highest you can get, basically. It's the Chief Information Security Officer. they're making, I mean, I would say like 200,000, like 150,000, like
Wow.
like up there, because they are in charge of, like, they're solely responsible for the information security of an entire company. So they have a lot of responsibility, a lot of stress. The turnover rate in the cybersecurity industry is like huge because people are just getting burnt out very quickly because it's a super stressful job having to be, in charge of all that. Especially when something bad does happen and it's all on you, like that's a terrible feeling. So the turnover rate is pretty high, but
I didn't know about that.
yeah, but I would say the pay is really good if that is what you're after. So.
And then you can potentially do that from anywhere.
Yeah, I think that would be one of my goals in the future. Like I like my work environment a lot, but I think just having that flexibility to be remote is like really big for people these days. So, especially the younger people.
Okay, so what are like your favorite things about your job?
My favorite things about my job. I like the people I work with a lot. My boss is really great. My company's awesome. It's like a smaller company, so you get to know people more. And I really like the parts of my job when I get to be creative, like when I am creating like security awareness campaigns, whether I'm like designing posters or sending out like email blasts or anything like that. I like doing that stuff a lot. I like writing. I like, that kind of thing. And yeah, just kind of, I don't know, very people focused, I think. So anything when I can like communicate with other people, I like doing.
Okay, you get to show your creative side a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was more like you're kind of a drone and you have to just fill in the boxes and.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes it does feel that way, just because I think any job where you have to sit at a computer all day can be draining, which you wouldn't. I don't know, it's weird. You wouldn't think that just like sitting at a desk is draining necessarily in like the physical sense, but it really is, just because you're staring at a computer all day. It just gets old. So I think that's probably one of my least favorite things, is just the environment aspect of it in that way, that you're just stuck behind a computer. I don't really, yeah.
So if people are just like getting eyes straight and everything, do you have any tips to help with that?
We are lucky enough to have like standing desks at our office, so the standing desk thing is nice to kind of get up and around. Eye strain, like if I'm ever just like over it, like I have a headache, like my eyes hurt, I go for walks. I try to go for at least 2 walks a day. So I like to get out of the office. We have like a neighborhood around, so I go out and walk in the neighborhood. I think it's good to take breaks. Yeah, that's what I do.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So who do you think is not set up to be successful in cybersecurity?
I think people who struggle to pay attention to detail probably aren't the best for cybersecurity, just because, I mean, these, little things are kind of what we're looking for in cybersecurity. Like you can go through the logs of something, and if you see something that doesn't look right, like you need to be able to notice that. So if you're not great at paying attention to detail, staying focused, and again, probably just dealing with other people. Like if you're not able to communicate with other people, I think in a lot of jobs, I think that you need to be able to communicate with people. So I'd say that.
And that's just like video calls or just text messages?
At my company, it's more, they're going like in person. So like a lot of companies have IT help desk where it's, over the phone or over email or anything. But at my company, it's on the smaller side. So our IT help desk technician, he is going out to people, like going to their office, talking to them, like in person, face to face. So I think those skills are important in any job, really. So.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to do something other than cybersecurity, what would you want to do?
Me personally?
You personally, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I have so many things I want to do in life. I'd like to be an author someday. I'd like to write a book.
Ooh, we are in book club.
We are in book club together, yes. Shout out. This is a kind of crazy one, but I would love to be a special effects makeup artist. I love doing special effects makeup. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I love doing anything to do with crazy, weird makeup. Yeah, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately.
Okay.
What would make me the happiest? So this is what we're trying to figure out,
So maybe not cybersecurity forever for you?
I don't think so. Not because, I'm really grateful in a lot of ways because it pays well. I got a good degree out of it. But I think for me, it's just the kind of repetitive thing every day that I don't know that I'll be able to do forever. Kind of, the sitting behind a desk, doing the same sort of thing. And also just, it is a lot of stress, like feeling like if something bad happens, then it is your fault. That can be stressful. So I don't think it'll be something I'll do forever, probably.
Okay, so you kind of said that cybersecurity can be kind of monotonous at times. Do you guys do these long-term projects or like months at a time, or is that more of a project manager?
We do. So a part of my job, I do IT project management. So for example, right now we're working on improving our conference room setups. So we're buying new cameras, like all that sort of thing. So those types of things would be long-term projects. And then there are the everyday, technical issues, the everyday security checks, like looking at the dashboards, patching computers, that sort of thing. So there's both. But yeah, long-term projects can last a while depending on what it is, because there are things in IT that aren't as urgent as others. So you have to drag those out a bit.
Okay, and then when shit hits the fan and everything goes bad,
yeah,
how do you deal with that stress?
Oh gosh, so we only really have like 4 people in our IT department at our company, and my boss, he's really great with kind of delegating tasks, and so if something like that is happening, I think he kind of has a really good handle on it. And then also just, I don't know, just taking a deep breath and being like, at the end of the day, I'll go home and it'll be fine, and the world will continue. So just not making it such a big deal of like, this is the end of the world, because it's not.
Okay. Do they kind of do that in corporate America a lot?
Yeah, and I really hate that about the business world in general, because it's like, if this isn't done by 5 o'clock, blah, 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 okay, then what? Like, nothing's gonna happen. So I don't know, just kind of that thought process in general is kind of what I don't like about corporate America, the business world, I would say. But alas,
you're in it.
Those things must be done. So I get it. It's just at the same time, like, I don't know. I think it kind of sucks, like, living like that, like having your job be the end all be all of your life.
So when you have like do you have a 9 to 5, or is it more like whenever they need you?
Yeah, we sort of have a flex schedule at our company. We work, or my schedule at least, I work 8 to 5 every day. So I do 9 hours Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to noon on Fridays. So I get off at noon on Fridays, so that's nice. But kind of 8 to 5, 9 to 5 schedule.
It's nice. You don't have to like stay late ever.
No, or I don't, at least. My boss and our other IT employee, they've had to a couple times just because things have gone wrong. They've had to stay late and like figure it out. And we do some IT things through a managed services provider. So it's like another company outside of ours that runs a couple of things for us. So they're on call 24/7 basically. So we don't have to have someone like that in our company, luckily. But there are companies that's what they're doing for others. So
okay, so you can potentially be a night owl if that's more your thing.
You could, yeah. So if you're they have people who have to monitor systems like during the night when no one else is. So yeah, that could also be a possibility for someone as well.
So for cybersecurity, for what you know now, what would you tell someone that's just getting started or is considering doing cybersecurity?
Yeah. So what I would have done differently, I would have gotten. I don't think a master's is necessary for cybersecurity. I would have gotten an MBA instead. Okay. A more general business degree, so that you could branch off into other things and not be so hyper focused on one area. That's what I personally wish I would have done going back. Yeah. But
everyone's just stopped looking at the cybersecurity master's programs now.
Well, I just think that if you have a cybersecurity degree, the master's doesn't necessarily benefit you in any way. I think maybe companies would look at it in terms of pay. You might get like a couple thousand more in pay, but I don't think it's going to get you a job over not getting you a job.
Okay, and then you can't really expand out of that.
Yeah, so I think the IT cybersecurity undergrad degree I think was good. I think I was kind of at the time not really knowing what I wanted to do. I heard it was a well-paying field, especially for women. So I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna decide on this degree and just do it. And then I think that afterwards, I wish I would have then gone a little more broader with the MBA so that I could do multiple other things within business.
Okay, so you brought up being a woman in cybersecurity. Yeah. What is that like? Is there anything you have to deal with specifically because you're a woman?
I mean, I think so. I think it's sort of just the same as like being a woman every day. I don't know. But I do think that in IT in general, there's a lot less women than men. So I think sometimes that was kind of a reason that I switched my major. The dean of the IT department, kind of his pitch was like they're hiring more women because they want to kind of balance out the gender gap. So you're sort of more likely to get a job if you're a woman. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I think that was kind of like a selling point for me at the time. But yeah, just if you were going into IT as a woman, you're just gonna have to know that there's like a lot more men than women. Even in the classes I was taking in college, it was me and like 3 other girls maybe, and then like the majority of the class was guys. But I think that's sort of any STEM field you go into, sadly. Like I know engineering is like that as well. So I think that if you want to do it, then you should do it. So don't let it scare you. But I think we're doing better now of when girls are younger, getting them into it, because I think that is like a problem that kind of causes that gender gap in the first place.
So they don't bring it up to other people.
Or yeah, just when kids are little, saying like, these types of jobs are more feminine and these types of jobs are more like masculine or whatever. And like pointing boys more in the direction of like science and engineering fields and not really pointing girls in that direction. But I think people are doing a lot better job of that now. So that's good.
So as a woman in cybersecurity, do you ever deal with sexual harassment?
I have not, no. Luckily, I have dealt with sort of just feeling, I don't know, which this also I think has to do with being young as well. Just kind of being spoken down to a little bit, or like, I don't know, that type sort of thing. So I don't know if that's like a woman thing. It could be just the age as well. I think when you're young and you start a new career, the people older than you maybe won't have as much trust in you or think as highly of you. So I think that sort of thing has definitely happened, but never anything like that.
And then how'd you earn kind of that trust in people?
You just kind of have to prove yourself, honestly, which sucks that you have to prove that you're worthy of the job that you were given. But it's kind of like you just have to prove it, and then that's honestly their problem at the end of the day. So, yeah.
So how long into the role did you finally feel comfortable?
Oh gosh, I don't think I still do, honestly. Because there's just like new stuff every day, which I think is another stressful part about it. Like things are always changing. You're always having to learn something new. So I'm still learning like every single day. I still don't fully feel like I have a grasp on it. Also, because I'm not on the technical side as much, I think I'm having to catch up a little bit, and just relearning things that I probably should have paid more attention to in school. I don't know.
That's okay. We've all done it.
But just as not being that sort of person, it never really like clicked for me. So sort of having to relearn like how things, I guess, work, and getting that sort of knowledge and just continually like doing training and stuff too, I think is important.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I don't know. Cybersecurity is a great field. It's always going to be needed. It's scary, but if you want to do it, I think it's great. There's always going to be job security. and there's always going to be need for more women. So there you go.
Go women.
Go women.
And go cybersecurity. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to
Yeah.
be with me.
Thank you, Drew. I had a great time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.